Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called Fitter Philosophy, in which I discuss practical, experience-based, stoic stuff from a non-academic perspective. So we're getting away from the textbooks here and from the extreme analysis of academia, and we're really looking at the practical stuff. And often when we're dealing with the practical stuff, it really helps to keep it simple. So I want to ask you a question. Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you ever ask yourself, and it's really good to stand in the mirror so you can see your reflection, and ask yourself, am I happy? Right. And have a think about the response, because we can never be happy 100% of the time, all the time, because life's more complex than that. But generally we can be happy. But if we're not generally happy, we can be non-emotional. Many people are non-emotional for much of the time, so they're neither unhappy nor happy. But you do get people who, either by circumstances or personal provenance or their situation, are unhappy. So it's a fundamental question, and I think one of the best ways to address it is by asking oneself, from my experience in life, what do I know makes me happier? Right? So we're taking the question and we're rearranging it to make it much more tangible, manageable, and systematic, so we can get more out of it. Because when you ask yourself, or ask anybody, are you happy or am I happy, you're really leaving the main option answer as a yes, no, and that's it. And then you basically say from there on in, right, if it's yes, is it a big yes, a medium yes, or a small yes? Or the opposite, is it a great big huge no? And it's really good it's part of self-reflection, and it is certainly aided by a healthy lifestyle, by being motivated, by literally creating an environment in which the circumstances which would make us happy are allowed to be nurtured. So we're not going to be happy at any age if we're sitting on a couch 12 hours a day, playing video games or watching television and vegetating. And it certainly won't make us happy beyond the most superficial triggering if we are simply grazing on salty snacks and sugary treats. In other words, we are consuming and eating purely for entertainment rather than for nutrition. In fact, when we're doing that, we're basically anti-nutrition. Much food eaten for entertainment is actually the opposite of nutritional, because it tends to be loaded with sugar, salt, and the convenience reaction triggers of our senses. So let's come back to the question of, am I happy? Right, and let's readdress that question to, do I know what to do in life which will make me less unhappy and make me more happy? And therefore, rather than confronting the choice of being happy or unhappy, we start to confront the options in life available to us to shift us from being less happy to more happy. Happiness is a result of circumstances, and importantly, we need to know ourselves, warts and all, good bits and bad bits. Secondly, we need to cultivate a positive environment with positive people and positive engagements of hobbies and employment to help us be more happy, to put us in a more positive space and environment where we can nurture that happiness. And rather than pursue it directly, we create the space to allow it to come to meet us. And we're not looking to be ecstatically happy. We'll leave that to people who are addicted to cocaine and other pharmaceutical medications like antidepressants. Unfortunately, these fudge, confuse and blind the senses, and in my opinion, over time they do damage because they start to remove ourselves from our direct connectivity with ourselves. That's only one part of the damage. So I would say, words of wisdom here, words of experience, try and keep your life clean, pick your friends carefully, have a few, you don't need many, have a few good hobbies, and most importantly, don't try to be happy all the time. Don't try to be pursuing happiness constantly, because you will find it fatiguing. You will get what's called happiness fatigue. Far, far more productive, far better for you and for everybody and for me, is to actually pursue contentment rather than happiness, because ultimately it's much more achievable. And once we have it, it's much more manageable. I'm Ralphie. I endorse this message. Hope you've enjoyed it too. See you soon. Bye-bye.